welcome to my channel once again. This is Samantha from Scent and Company. I am coming today to you guys with a new exciting video. This video I'm gonna be making a design candle. I'm gonna make a Fruit Loop candle and I'm gonna show you guys every step of the way how I'm making it. I'm gonna also show you guys how I measure my wax for my container to get the exact fill weight for my wax. In that way you don't have to pour water in, you don't have to calculate, multiply, divide or anything. This gives you the exact fill weight of what your wax is going to be in your container. So I already have some wax that is warm. It's not hot to the temperature that it needs to be, and I kept it that way because all I'm doing is an example of what you can do to figure out what your fill weight is for your wax container. The easy way, like I told you guys that I do it, and it always come out correctly every time because I follow that instructions that I'm about to show you guys. So let's get right into the video so I could show you guys what I'm doing. So I already have everything set up. As you can see, I already have everything set up over here that I'm gonna be using for this video. So what I'm gonna do is get some wax in here. Bear with me, I'm getting the wax. And you don't have to, like I stated to you earlier, you don't have to heat it up to the temperature like you need to heat it up when you're making the container, when you're making the wax, because all you're doing is just demonstration. So what I do, I turn my scale on, I tare it to make sure it's at 0. I put the container on there and I tare it again just to make sure it's zeroed out, and all I do is fill it up with the wax. And for this one I have a wooden container, so you don't want to take it all the way to the top because I still have to leave room for the container. So that is my fill weight. That is at 243.4. So because this is the lid, if you can see, once I put the lid on, I still have enough room on there. I could probably put some more wax in here, but I'm not, because I'm gonna be putting decoration at the top, so I don't want the lid touching the decoration, so I'm gonna leave it like right here. So this actually give me a total of 243.2 grams. So I know this is the amount that this jar take to do one candle if I'm doing a design. If I'm not doing a design, it probably gonna go up just a little bit more. I probably will take it up to 250, 255 if I'm not doing any design on it, just so that it will come a little bit more up. But because I'm doing design, I'm gonna leave this right here where it's at. So let's get into this video. I'm gonna pour this back into the wax warmer so that we could start getting this wax where it needs to be, the temperature. You got to be very careful because if you warm it up too hot, it's going to be too hot for you to touch the container. But luckily, that's not the case with me over here. So I'm going to go ahead and start. This was the container I used just to do the test. I'm going to put that aside. But this is actually the container I'm going to be using. You can also, when you put the wax inside, you see how I made a mark here, but this mark, we're not gonna use it. This is only if I am not doing any design. This is the correct mark. So you can do this as well, just so that you can have an accurate line where it needs to stop. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna clean my container first. As you can see, it look like it's a frost because of the dirt. It look frost. But watch, once I clean it, how clear it's gonna look. So as stated, you don't need a lot of alcohol. You just need a little, and you just rub all around in the bottom, get that real good, and you keep going like that. I'm gonna remove this here if I can. And all you do is take a Sharpie and just put that right there. No big deal. So now I have the container clean. Now it look clear. No more frost look to it. And what I do is just wipe out any excess alcohol that is in there. Voila. So that's done, that's clean. The next thing I'm gonna do is put on my warning sticker. So I try to get it in the center. And there you go. Because this is a 14-ounce jar, I'm gonna do 2 wooden wick on this. I could do 1, but just because of the dimension of it, I'm gonna go ahead and do 2 wooden wick just so that they will have a very nice even burn on this candle. It's not gonna be any pile up on either side, so I'm gonna do 2. I have this wick centerpiece I got when I first started making candles. I use it sometime and sometime I don't, but because I'm doing a 2 wick here, I'm gonna use it just so that I could have the exact measurement, because you don't want the wood touching too close to each other and you don't want it too far apart. With this, because it's not the same dimension of the bottom, you're gonna have to just sit it down and just eyeball it and move it where you feel like it's in the center to get that perfect little center for your wick. So all I do when I put it in there, I kind of like just eyeball it and just move it around a little until I see that, you know, it is even. And once I see that it's even, I'm gonna take a little Sharpie or marker, what have you, and you just put a dot. You put a dot in there so that you will know where to put your wick. So you see, like that, just 2 small dots, nothing too big. So now that I have my dot in there, I'm gonna prepare my wooden wick. So I'm gonna put that here. And I'm just centering it in the middle. And then now I'm gonna take my wick sticker. And I'm gonna get that off. And what I do now, I put the container down and I just eyeball it, and I try to put it on the middle of where the dot is. You may not get it perfect, but you know, as close as you can is fine. So I'm gonna do the same with this right here. You don't want it touching, but you want it as close as it can be. So with the way how I did it, I'm just straightening out the wood here. So the way how I did it, this is how your 2 wicks should look for your wooden wick. It's showing close because I have to put on the little, I'm gonna put something to like separate it where it would be like this, but now it's fine showing like this. It's not a big deal. So I got that taken care of, and I'm gonna just move this out of the way. So the next thing, I know that my fill weight for my wax is 243.4. Now I have to figure out how much fragrance oil I'm gonna use for this container. Okay, so for me to try to figure out the fragrance oil that I'm gonna use, I'm gonna try using 9%, and the only reason why is because today I'm using the Fruit Loop, and this scent here is a very strong scent, so I'm gonna use 9%. I normally use 10%, but just because this is so strong, I'm gonna go ahead and do 9%. So what I did, I took the 243.4 and I times it by 9%, and that gave me 21.96 fragrance oil I have to use for this container, and that gave me the 9% that I'm gonna be using. So let's check my wax to see where we're at right now with the wax. We're at 183, so we're at the exact amount that I need to be at. I went ahead and did some of these earlier. These is what I'm gonna be using for my Fruit Loop at the top. I did this earlier just for the sake of time because, you know, I had to go in there and do all the different color, and it do take a while because I only have one of the mold. This is what it looked like. I left one in there just so that you guys can see how it's done when I'm doing it. So pretty much all you do, I use this glass here. I put a few drops of the chosen color that I decide. This is purple. I put like about 3 to 4 drops inside of this container. And then I pour a little of the fragrance oil inside. And then I pour a little bit of wax and I shake it up just so that the scent and the wax and the coloring can all blend in together. And then I throw it in this mold. And what I did, I let it sit until it's dry. As you can see, it's dry. And then I can go ahead and take out these little circle that is in here right now, my cereal, pretty much. So pretty much all you do is just loosen all of them so that it's easy to just flick it out. So I have it loosened and I just use both of my hands at the tip and I push it out. That's all I do, push it out with both of the tip of my fingers. Because if you don't do that, it sometimes break. So that's what I do. And just a tip to make sure it's hard, I put it in the fridge. After I pour it in, I put it in the fridge or the freezer just so that it would be hard. Because sometime when you do it, it's soft and it start breaking. So just so that it would be hard, I put it in the fridge. So this is how it came out. Look just like Fruit Loop cereal. So I have red, I have yellow, I have blue, I have purple, and I have a little bit of orange. So this is what we're gonna be putting at the top of the candle. This is what I put here for me to know how much fragrance oil and how much wax I need in here. So you could also do that just to save paper towel. You have the Fruit Loop and you have your measurement on there. Just food for thought. So I'm gonna go ahead and take out what I'm using for my fragrance oil. I'm gonna tear my scale. I'm gonna put the container on there and I tear it again just to make sure it's at 0. I'm gonna take my fragrance oil. I use this right here because it helps it to not spill. So I'm gonna make sure I have 21.96 total fragrance oil. Okay, so I pour a little bit too much in there. So all you do is pour back a little. And it's at 21. I'm gonna work with that because if I pour it in to make it 9.6, I may go over. So once it's at 21, I'm good with that. The point, whatever number, it really don't concern me. I just make sure I have the exact 21.96. And as you can see on the scale, it's a 21.4. So we're gonna work with that. So I remove this. I'm gonna remove my scale, put it over here. I'm gonna get my fragrance oil over here. Now I have my fragrance oil. I'm gonna bring it over here and I'm gonna pour my fragrance oil in here. I'm gonna pour my fragrance oil into my wax. And I just stir. You stir it for like a minute or so, just to make sure everything is combined together, because you want your candles to be smelling. You want a good cold throw and a good hot throw. The cold throw, as I explained to you in my last video, is when someone pick your candle up for the first time, take the lid off and smell it. That's the cold throw. You want that to be strong. You don't want the cold throw to be light. And the hot throw is when someone lights your candle, how much scent it smell of the area. Like if it's loud, if it's low. So that's the cold throw and the hot throw. So you want to make sure you stir this in really good. Like I said, like a minute or so. Some people do 2 minutes, but I just do like a minute or so. And I'm gonna make sure I get my container in position. So once I get this to the idea, stirring amount that I want it to be at, once I think it's sufficient, I just pour this over. And this is so strong. This is 9% and it is so strong. So I'm gonna leave it there because like I told you guys, I'm gonna be putting the decoration at the top, so I don't want these here Fruit Loop to touch the lid. So I'm gonna leave it to this fill weight right here. And what I normally do is try to get one of my wick holder to just separate this. Since I don't have one right now close to me, I'm gonna use this right here. So all I do is put this in, and I kind of do this right here, just so that this open up a little. And that's all you do. You utilize what you have, you know? So this open it up really good, the way how it should. Let me let you see that really good. It open it up really nice, and I'm gonna just let this sit for it to solidify. And once this solidify, then we're gonna come back and you're gonna see how I decorate the top of the candle with these little Fruit Loops here. Okay, so we are back. Our candle is completely solidified. So we're gonna go ahead and put these little design at the top of our candle, and we're gonna finish it up, and we're gonna have our Fruit Loop candle. This came out really good. This is how it look like. So we're gonna get started, jump right in. So what I do is take my little heating gun and I just remelt the top of the surface so that it will get soft. So that's all I'm doing here is remelting the top. So I'm doing it so that I can get a good set in there. Because normally it dry real quick. So all we're gonna do is just start dropping our Fruit Loop in there. There's no particular way you have to put it. You just drop it up in there. Because the design is to look like it's a bowl of cereal. So we just dropping it in there. That's pretty much all you're doing. If you want to take your time and just like neatly put it in there, you can, but you don't have to. And then once they get in there, I'm just positioning it where it's touching the wax in the bottom so that it would stick. And what I do is just go in just to make sure everything is stick to the wax. So that's what I do there. Make sure nothing is moving, because you don't want when you turn your container upside down is falling out. So that's what I'm just making sure everything is stick to the wax in the bottom. And that's it. So this is what it should look like. This is the finishing touch. So now what I'm gonna do is go ahead and clip my wood wick. So you just eyeball it just to see if it's clipped correctly to the amount where it can burn real nice. So we're done. So just making sure that when you upturn it, nothing fall out. And we have our Fruit Loop candle. This is how it look. Very easy, nothing to it. So all I do now, like I was gonna show you, now it's enough room for the lid to be on there without it smushing the Fruit Loop. So that's why I told you leave enough room, because if we had put it up a little bit more, this one right here was gonna be touching the lid. So that's why I say you have to average and see with the design. So now all I'm gonna do is put my label on, and voila, we have our Fruit Loop candle. So easy. So I do want to thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna be posting a little bit more videos with design candle. So you guys stay tuned. Every Wednesday I'm gonna be posting videos concerning my candles, shea butter, what have you. I have new shea butter on the website, so if you guys head on over there, there's some new scents on there. This is my Fruit Loop candle, and I do want to thank you guys for watching.